Hey, what's up? Welcome to day 4 of Connect and Communicate Basics. Today we're going to talk about where you can meet native English speakers online and how you can sort of get the conversation going. So I know this is the class that many of you have been waiting for, because for a lot of people it's just such a mystery, like, where can I meet native English speakers? And this has been such a huge problem that entire companies have formed around solving this problem. You guys already know that a lot of apps exist where you can connect with native English speakers for practicing English and doing language exchanges and stuff like that. And while I guess that works and some people have a good experience with it, I mentioned earlier in one of the other videos that a lot of people don't have good experiences with these apps because either the conversations aren't deep or people are using the apps for the wrong reasons, and a lot of users are not getting the experience that they hoped for. Now, the good news is you don't even need to use language exchange apps or language exchange groups to connect with native English speakers. You can just use communities that already exist for English speakers, and you can join them and you can interact. Now, using online communities is not the only way to do this. You can use any social media platform that you want. Actually, we're going to talk more about communities because that's my favorite method and I find that it's the most effective method. But in reality, all you need to do is use a social media platform that native English speakers use. Now, there's a lot of platforms that people use around the world that are not popular with native English speakers. So you need to be aware of that and realize that just because there's an app that you use in your country, that does not mean that native English speakers also use that app. I would say off the top of my head that the most popular apps that native English speakers use are Facebook. So you definitely want to use Facebook and take full advantage of that. That is my favorite platform, and we're going to talk more about that, and I will explain why. And if you're sitting here going, oh my gosh, I hate Facebook, I can't believe that's the first one she said, just calm down. I'm going to explain why this platform is so powerful and life-changing, because they have a feature that I don't want to say that no other platform has, because I think LinkedIn has a similar feature, but just Facebook has communities, okay? Facebook has groups. Now, these groups are phenomenal, but it's also extremely difficult to find the good groups. And I know because I have personally spent by now at least 100 hours or more, because I've been doing this research for over 4 years. I've spent so many hours researching and finding the best groups, and I have a whole method for finding groups and auditing groups and making sure that they're good and interactive. The truth is there's a lot of spam on Facebook, okay? And you may have noticed this. You join a group and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is a waste of time. I'm getting out of here, okay? So it's true. There are a lot of groups that have spam in them, and definitely they are a waste of time. But then there are other communities that are smaller, tight-knit. The people are respectful. They have moderators and admins. The community interacts together, helps each other, and I have personally met most of my best friends and mentors through these Facebook communities. When you know how to use these communities strategically, they are so powerful, and I'm going to explain more about that in a second. But one of the other reasons why these communities are hard to find is it's not just that they're hard to find, because they just are, but because of your location, right? The way Facebook works and the way the algorithm works is Facebook shows you things based on where you live. So if you want to find the groups that native English speakers use, there's a chance that you may never find them because you don't live in the country. You don't live in a native English speaking country if you don't. Or Facebook also pays attention to the language that you use, okay? And it pays attention to the pages that you like and the things that you comment on. The algorithm is like this big, massive computer, right? It's like a brain. It's taking in all this information, and Facebook is designed to give you more of what you like, okay? So whatever you interact with, whatever you comment on, whatever you do, that algorithm is analyzing it and going, let me give them more of this. So if you're commenting on things in your native language, then Facebook will serve you posts in your native language and pages and groups in your native language. You're never gonna see the content that's out there for native English speakers, okay? That's a huge problem because they have this really phenomenal feature, these communities, where you can go in there and make a post and in 5 minutes be connected with 20 different people, okay? And they could be commenting, you could ask a question, they could be giving you answers, you could give advice to other people, they could ask for advice. Again, these communities are where I have met many of my best friends and mentors. And the way I use it is I first meet people through Facebook, and I have all of my strategies for figuring out, is this a trustworthy person? Is this somebody I want to know, etc. And then we take the relationship further. We message each other privately. Maybe then we do a phone call. And eventually, as the relationship builds, sometimes I decide, hey, I want to meet these people. And I do. I go meet them. I have lots of friends in LA who are also entrepreneurs. One of my mentors lives in LA. And whenever we go down to Los Angeles, California, we go and we visit these people. But again, these are people that I first met online in these Facebook communities. And I hope that all of this stuff is making sense, because I know it's kind of like, whoa, it's weird, right? It's a lot of information and you're like, how does this work? This is Connect and Communicate basics, okay? This is how the system works. This is all the information you need to know to get started. I actually teach a complete course called Connect and Communicate, where I go over all of this stuff with my students. And when students join my course, I give them a list of over 200 of the best Facebook communities that I have ever found, all organized and categorized according to interests, so that immediately you can start finding communities where you can instantly today start using your English and meeting people, connecting with people, and all related to your interests. Because remember, earlier in this course, we talked about the best conversations you have are the ones where you talk with somebody you like about things you enjoy, where you have similar goals, interests, problems, etc. So when you join these communities, you're able to talk about all of these things with other people and have the best conversations of your life and use your English. And that, I think, is the most important part, because instead of just doing classes where you are learning grammar again or practicing the same things again, it immerses you in an all English environment where you can use your English from day one, be surrounded with English. Because let's face it, like, we all use social media. We're all on social media at least half an hour a day. So it's not like you have to spend more time to improve your English. You're just changing the way you already use social media to improve your English, to surround yourself with English, and to create meaningful relationships. Okay, so again, Facebook is my favorite platform for doing this because of their communities feature. You can use other platforms, but whatever you do, you want to make sure that you have a decent profile. Okay, now what do I mean by this? I mean a profile picture that shows your face. I know a lot of people are so scared of showing their face on social media profiles, and honestly, I don't get it. Because when you go to the supermarket, people see your face, okay? Showing your face is not the same as giving somebody your address where you live. So I just encourage my students, don't be afraid. Put a picture that looks nice, that looks professional, where you're smiling, show your face. You can write a little bit of information about yourself on your profile so people know, because then when you connect with somebody, when you make a comment, they want to see who you are. So they're going to see your picture and they're going to be like, oh, that person is smiling. That looks like a nice person. And it builds instant trust, okay? And they might even click your name and go look at your profile to learn more about you, right? Because people are a little bit skeptical when they meet people online. So it's good to have that so people can see who you are. You guys will not believe the amount of awful profiles that I have seen working with English learners. And I think part of the reason is people use social media differently around the world. And English speakers are generally pretty trusting, okay? We're not afraid of putting photos online of our family. We're not afraid of putting photos of ourselves. We're not afraid of that kind of stuff. But when it comes to a non-native English speaker, a lot of these profiles that I've seen, first of all, the profile picture is often just ugly, or it's a cartoon, and it's like, you're an adult. Why are you putting a picture of a cartoon as your profile picture? People are going to think you're a child. This is strange, right? It's just kind of like, it's just culture shock. You know, people just aren't used to it. I also see profiles where somebody looks angry because they're not smiling. And you guys know this by now about like English speakers. We're smiley people. We like to smile. It shows friendliness. It shows that you can trust us, etc. So I encourage you to have a nice profile picture, to write some information about who you are. don't say that you're an English learner. As long as you don't say it, nobody's gonna ask, right? And that's what you want. You want people to just look at you and be interested in you, who you are. You don't want to make it about your English and your English learning journey and you and your struggle with English, because again, it's like people are beyond that. Nobody's thinking about that. Like just the other day, actually, in one of these groups, I saw a post and there was this woman and she commented and she shared some pictures and she said, oh, look, my boyfriend and I were doing a road trip from the tip of Alaska to the tip of Argentina. And she posted some photos about their van that they're going in and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I commented and I was like, this is so cool. This is like my husband's dream. My husband has been wanting to do a trip like this for so long. I don't know if we'll ever do it, but I told her that I was going to follow her on Instagram so I can keep up with her journey and see how things are going. And you know what? In her post, she had some mistakes. She made some grammar mistakes, etc. And I got curious. I was like, I wonder where she's from. So I checked her profile. Of course, she had a nice picture. She was smiling. I think she was at the beach or something. And I found out that she is from Italy. And I thought, how cool, you know? She's using her English to connect with people, to share her journey, to share her life. And she's not apologizing. She's not saying, sorry for my grammar mistakes. I'm a non-native English speaker. She's not doing any of that, right? And so I connected with this girl from Italy, and I'm super excited to see her journey that she's gonna have with her boyfriend. And I can't wait to see like what they experience, especially because this is a trip that Ren has been wanting to do. And he talks to me about it and I'm just like, oh, that's scary. I don't know if I can do that. But see what I mean? Like going back to what I said in earlier videos, when you have something that interests another person or that can benefit them, that's when you can form that mutually beneficial relationship. In this case, this Italian girl, she's doing something that I'm very interested in, something that I know my husband has been wanting to do. So I'm interested in connecting with her. It's authentic, right? And this is how you guys create relationships and continue the conversation. And we'll talk about this more tomorrow, but basically it has to start with an authentic interest in the next person. It can't be fabricated. It can't be fake. It can't be, let's just practice English for the sake of practicing, right? Because you don't build lifelong friendships off of that kind of communication. Okay, so I hope all of this is coming together and making sense. If you want to try to find groups with native English speakers, again, I advise using Facebook and then searching for keywords. So think of the types of groups you want to join, figure out what keywords you're going to need to find groups related to that, and then just start searching through the groups. You're going to have to ask to join. There's often a questionnaire. You're going to have to fill out a bunch of information about who you are. Then this is just because the admins and the moderators of these groups, they want to make sure that you are not a spammer, because spammers exist and nobody wants a spammer ruining their group, okay? So when I do my searches, Facebook already shows me the best groups because I've sort of trained the algorithm to do this based on where I live, the things that I search for, etc. So it already shows me really great groups. When you search something on Facebook, you won't get the same search results that I get. We'll put it that way. But when I do it, even though I get the best results, I would say 1 out of 5 groups or 1 out of 10 groups is actually worth joining. So you have to go in, you have to audit the groups. And basically what I look for is interaction. Is the group alive or dead? Okay, a group that is busy where people are posting every day, that's a great group to be a part of. But if nobody has posted anything in a week, that group is dead, nobody's commenting, I leave those groups. And then you just have to look at the types of posts people are making. Look at the comments and look at the likes, okay? Is there any interaction? Because there are lots of groups where it might say, hey, there's 10 posts a day, but you go into these groups and you find that people are just sharing random content in there. There's no real interaction. People aren't really talking and interacting and getting to know each other. And the kind of groups that I'm talking about are phenomenal. You have really great posts made by individuals who are looking for real advice or wanting to share real experiences, people blowing up the comments, and not in a mean or rude way like on YouTube, right? Sometimes we come across really nasty comments. It's not like that because these groups are moderated. So they are like safe environments, okay, where people can feel comfortable sharing and interacting. And again, these communities are, in my opinion, the #1 place for any language learner, especially English language learner, to practice their language skills because you can. absorb vocabulary just by reading the posts and interacting with people. You're going to be confronted with so much English on a daily basis. You'll have the opportunity to comment and to respond to people, get instant feedback. People are online, so you see someone make a comment and it pops up, and then you can respond and you can have that interaction in real time, okay? And you're talking about something interesting. Plus, Facebook allows you to send private messages to people. It allows you to call people. Now, what I don't recommend doing, and please don't ever do this, is don't send messages to people before talking with them in the comments. You have to build some level of trust before you message a stranger. That's just basic social media protocol, okay? Don't send messages to people if you don't know them. Like, get to know them in the comments a little bit, and then you can say, hey, do you mind if I send you a message, or something like that, okay? Do you mind if I send you a message to ask you a question, whatever it is. Go slowly, meet people, build trust, start conversations, okay? Build the relationship. We'll talk more about building relationships tomorrow, and use the right strategies to get people to talk with you, get people on the phone, join the right communities, etc. Okay, so again, this is all stuff that I teach step by step in my Connect and Communicate course, but I'm teaching the basics now because what I realized is a lot of people join Connect and Communicate and they go, oh my gosh, this is so mind-blowing, like I've never learned anything about this before, and they have really great experiences and great transformations, but I felt like there needed to be a stepping stone, like something people learn first before joining us in Connect and Communicate. All right, so I hope you're learning lots of new things. I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you tomorrow in our final video. That's it, and take care.